All right, good morning. We'll call this budget workshop August 4th meeting to order and welcome everybody here. We appreciate you being here. If you weren't here last night with us, you missed quite an experience, but we do appreciate all the input from our citizens. And I will mention, well, let's go ahead and ask Mr. Newton to lead us in prayer, and I'll lead us in the pledge. Please stand.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord God, we just thank you for another opportunity to serve. We just thank you for the opportunity to live in Gilchrist County. Lord, help us to make decisions that are prudent, decisions that are in the best interests of our citizens. And Lord, as we serve the public, Lord, help us to serve them well. Lord, just continue to be with our first responders and our military. Just keep them safe and out of harm's way. And we just thank you and praise you for all that you do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You got it right tonight.
All right, before we begin the budget workshop, I want to just mention I did give, I got an email last night, I think, from one of the citizens, Miss Ann Acorn, and I made a copy. I didn't know if everybody got that or not, but she was complimentary on the workshop and the presentation, and she indicated that she understood better what we were trying to do and was supportive, and so I just wanted to make sure that everybody had that, and we can provide that as part of our record as well if everybody didn't get that. So related to the budget workshop, we're going to get started. We've got an agenda, and Mr. Newton, you're going to lead us with that?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So the topics we're going to be discussing today are aid to private with Swanee Valley League, the property appraiser. We're going to look at fire services as well as fire services for Fanning Springs and Trenton. We're going to look at EMS and community paramedic and the opioid mitigation funds, and then any remaining other departments and budget discussions. We're also going to revisit road department and solid waste at the end. So we had no changes from yesterday, so our budget recap remains at $48,893,889. With that, we're gonna start out with aid to private organizations.
Mr. Newton, can I ask real quick? I know that's a reduction from last year. What was our budget last year? You remember?
Have to pull that up, but give me 1 second.
Is it more 60, 61?
It was in the 60s, I think.
60 or 61,
It was,
I think.
but I've got it here. If you give me 1 second, I can tell you exact.
So while he's looking, part of that is our total budget includes our operating, but also it would include capital projects. And
Correct.
part of the reason we might have come down is if the capital projects have been completed.
So last year our total budget was just over $64 million. It's a $13 million reduction. And of that, $12 million is a reduction in general fund and around $2.7 million in reduction in capital projects.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And somebody just texted and said the front door is locked. Can somebody check on that, please? Thank you.
I don't see Swanee Leagues here.
Okay. Well, anybody from Swanee Valley League? Okay, in the back.
Okay, well, there we go.
We have representatives.
Okay. If y'all want to come on up,
Sorry, you're having,
I thought she was here for Trenton.
I'm here for that too. Multitask.
Yeah, multitask. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for
My
being
name is
here.
Brittany Mills. I'm here today representing Swanee Valley League, aka Gilchrist League. Most everyone in Gilchrist has a connection to the league, I believe. Played themselves, perhaps, children, grandchildren, served as volunteers, coaches, commissioners, possibly even board members. This organization truly is a community-built organization with a very large help of the county commissioners and the contributions you've given to our organization. So thank you for that very much. Currently, right now, our board has 9 board members, so we have grown over the last few years with our newly elected president with us today, Devin Smith. Thank you, Devin.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Yes.
And your bravery.
We currently have a commissioner for each sport, which is ideal. We have not always had that, so having that many volunteers is great and great to see. We have nearly 1,000 youth registrations annually. We have 6 fall sports available to our youth, 4 spring sports, and 1 winter sport, which is more opportunities than ever that our youth has been able to partake in. So thank you to the county for allowing our youth to experience these opportunities local and staying local. You allow us to keep our registrations affordable, maintain our fields and facilities. You help us purchase equipment, keep our lights on, continue serving local families, because registrations alone just do not cover our operating expenditures. You can actually see in the numbers that I provided to you our player registrations and sport expenditures. Nearly all of them are in a deficit at the end of the season. So with additional sponsorships from local businesses, still at the end of the season, we typically net in the negative, but your support allows us to balance our budget. So currently we are reinvesting back into our facilities as much as possible. There is a level 2 background checks for all coaches and volunteers currently in effect. So there is some additional cost each year, or this year for that. Replacing our batting cage nets. We are also converting our multi-purpose field to additional T-ball fields. We're replacing baseball pitching mounds, updating and repairing our concession stand. We are repairing and adding additional basketball goals. We're improving and we're hoping to improve and expand our playground area and add fencing and gates for additional safety and security. Additionally, we have our capital project, which is our Field 4 lighting. This is a project that's been in place for 4+ years that we've been trying to add to. Replacing the lighting is very expensive. Our goal right now for our estimated cost is $150,000. That was from about 4 years ago. I have no doubt that price has probably increased to now. But we have approximately $100,000 right now in that budget. And that is solely due to the board's donation to that project. So thank you for that. So today, I respectfully am requesting $25,000 for annual operating expenditures to allow us to keep operating at low cost to our families. And additionally, if the board is able, understanding budget cuts, $25,000 toward our capital improvement fund for our Field 4 lighting. So every dollar that you contribute goes directly to supporting our youth in our community, creates safe, affordable recreational opportunities, and helps us in supporting our youth. And thank you so much for your continued partnership and contribution to our program. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Well, first of all, Brittany, all of us understand the value of what y'all are doing. Many of us have been involved with that. Some of us were around when the Field of Dreams was
I believe it.
established, and just, I wish I'd have thought about this last night in the budget discussion, but Piedmont Farms donated that property where all of that is now, and they've donated other properties around the county, but definitely sacrifice, because I know you do lots of things, and people spend lots of hours helping our young people. And so none of us would disagree with what you're doing. I do hear criticisms, and I think your financial overview kind of explains, what are they doing with all that money? And when you look at what it costs, you're in the negative on every sport except football, right, and volleyball.
Yep. In football, we actually were able to be in the positive this year because we hosted a third game locally, which is not typical. Normally, we can only host 2. So that is the reason our gate entry was able to exceed our usual. And additionally, we always try to increase football revenue through sponsorship solely because of how expensive replacing the helmets are, the pads, all of those things. So we may go 3 or 4 years with little to no expense, and then on that 3rd year, we're definitely seeing an uptick in our expenditures. So.
Yeah. If the county didn't provide support, what would it cost? I guess you could divide, we could figure that out. You may already know that. How much more per participant would it cost? And it's quite a bit.
Football, I can tell you we were close to 150 a participant.
Additional.
No, total.
Oh, total. Okay.
Currently, we're at 100, so it's
$50 more
yeah.
per football.
And I can tell you, we currently do have several families that operate on sponsorship through local businesses. Local individuals will sponsor a child. A lot of times we do payment plans for families to allow them to make payments as they can. And then the board also sponsors children. So we do have several that are even struggling to make that $100. So, and we understand that, but we want every kid to play. So we do what we can.
Yeah. Anybody got questions?
Yeah, I've been asked by the taxpayers myself.
Sure.
This is a good report. I like what I see. But some of them wants to break it down a little further, and you might could do that if I got with you.
I can.
In other words, how much did concession stands stay in? How much did you spend on umpires and stuff like that? I'm not. It's not that I don't trust you, don't believe in you. It's just the questions they ask me. I don't know how much you spent on umpires. It really doesn't matter. You got to have them one way or the other. But some people request a more detailed list of what you spend on this, what you spend on that. It's taxpayers' dollars, which I understand it is. I'm a taxpayer. You a taxpayer. Everybody wants to know where the money's going. But
I definitely can provide an itemized, detailed breakdown. I can send that to you right away. We have that available to you. And any taxpayer that would like to see that, I'll be more than happy to provide it.
I'll get with you sometime. We'll just talk about it. The other thing I want to mention, we were working on some property across the road over there.
Yes.
I worked with Mr. Bennett, and he had agreed. And he had actually been presented a contract to move forward, but unfortunately, he didn't make it to that next step. Bobby was telling me that we had applied for up to a $3 million grant to make the park bigger and better. If we could get that 24 acres, it's 24.4, if we could get that, that would give the county almost 50 acres across there. Soccer field, football field, whatever we need. And I'll depend on y'all to help us, design it and everything. But I've been working with his estate just to see how it's going to come out. There's a lot of promise, a lot of hope. So somewhere in the future, maybe we can do that. But what y'all do is, that's our future, Gilchrist County, the people y'all work with. Those youth, that's who's going to be here when we're gone. And they deserve every opportunity they get. We talked about Wyatt Langford. He's from Gilchrist County, and look where he's at. There's been a lot of them in the past. That's where it starts, is right there, y'all being with them and working with them. And believe me, I volunteered before. My oldest son played Pop Warner football and high school football, and my daughter played and all. There's a lot of time and effort goes in that. and your pay is very little, other than the glory that you get out of doing it.
I think that's all the pay.
Yeah, it's right. But you love it, you enjoy
Yes,
it, and you put
absolutely.
your heart into it, and that means a lot to us, and it means a lot to them. It does. I have people walk up to me today and say, "Coach Langford." I'm not no coach, but that's what they call me, and that's 25, 30 years ago. But they remember that, and it puts a lot into them. It really does. But we really appreciate what y'all do. I'll get with you sometime just to satisfy the people that ask me questions.
Absolutely.
And I know you're not hiding anything. I know you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that they ask questions, and I don't have an answer other than come to you and try to get one. So that's what I'll do.
Absolutely. Well, my information is available through our website, and anybody that would like to reach out to me is more than welcome to do so.
And I'll keep you updated on the progress on the other as soon as I hear something. I haven't heard anything lately.
Okay. Our meetings are actually the first Monday of each month, so I know that's the night you guys meet, but if you ever wanted to come or have a special meeting and the board would like to talk with our board and maybe put together a plan for a future, we'd
Yeah.
love to have you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for
So
what y'all
thank
do.
you so much.
One other thing, y'all may hear, I know a lot of the sports leagues around, they get grants for the things that they do. We may not always hear about those grants because we're working on road grants and other things. So if you ever hear of a grant and you need help in filling out the grant, we have a great staff that's really good at those types of things, but we may not hear about them. So if you hear of grants that are available, and I already talked with Bobby a while back, we may not be able to find a grant, but if we can help you in filling that grant out, let us know.
Absolutely. I greatly appreciate that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Brittany, if somebody really has lots of questions, they could volunteer, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You have opportunity for people to volunteer?
We do. We actually just had election. We had some open seats. We have a couple new volunteers coming in, and we always are in need of coaches, volunteers in concession, helping and even attending our meeting and just voicing their thoughts and just showing up is the most valuable thing we can do. So,
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate what
you so
y'all are
much.
We
doing.
appreciate it.
So just a real quick comment, and we've said this before, but maybe you haven't heard. If, and we're not related to the property tax amendment in November, we'll adjust, the board obviously will adjust however the voters want to go there. And if we have that reduction, there'll be a reduction in revenue. We've said they're estimating around 2.5 million the first year
First year is 2.6.
and around 4
About 4.2
the
the second year.
second year. And so just the fact is, these kind of things are considered not mandatory, they're discretionary. And so we may not have funds to fund these kind of things. And that's not what, I think the board, however it turns out, will try to figure out a way. It's just going to make it a lot more difficult to fund these kind of things.
Yes, sir.
Let me just give you a heads up. This is just something that came on my computer from one of my attorney associations before I walked over here. May or not be right because I haven't analyzed it, but I understand that the circuit judge in Leon County threw out the ballot language and said they had 10 days to rewrite it or be removed from the ballot because it was misleading.
I'd heard the same thing.
And they will certainly get it rewritten, but he said it was overbroad. It was too ambiguous for the people to
I heard
understand.
there were several lawsuits being brought up about it.
That's right. That was based on a lawsuit that had been filed about that same.
Yeah, my understanding is that I think a lot of people felt like that was what was going to occur. And so I think probably they had a contingency ready. My understanding was that if it did get overturned, it would probably still end up on the ballot. It's just going to look different than it
But he gave them
does.
10 days to rewrite it and file it for further review.
Interesting. So we're still on aid to private real quick. So I do need board direction on aid to private. We've already met about basically everything that's on aid to private. Is the board comfortable with where we're at with all of the items that are on aid to private, or do we need to make any changes?
Any thoughts from the board?
Oh, this is in the budget that's being presented, right?
Sir?
Oh, this is in the budget that's being presented?
All of it is currently in the budget, yes, sir.
Okay,
Do you have any recommendations?
I'm good with it.
I don't. Really the only question is we are bringing on the new Bell Community Mission, and there was discussion when they came in, and I think there were questions on whether or not to keep it in, and so before we move forward, I just wanted to get confirmation, are we leaving that in, or are we removing it?
Any thoughts related to that? Yeah, I understand. Go ahead. I understand it's a good work. I just wonder if where we're at, adding new expense or outside support
That we may have to cut.
that we may have to cut next year. I just wonder if that's the best thing to do at this point.
The only problem I have with that happening is it's just really hard to, if you're going to help the needy, you just read into some process to figure out who the needy are. Because I've experienced this. They have a food giveaway, and you go down there and get the food, and some people need it, no doubt, but some people don't. And then you go to the flea market, and you see this food for sale that they got for free. Or you see somebody sitting side of the road selling this food they got for free. If you're helping the needy, that's not, unless they're selling that to buy drugs or something. But I mean, how are you helping the needy if you just give it to anybody? I had one guy told me they gave away 300 turkeys. I said, you could have given away 3,000. They're free. You know? Did you help 300 people that would have never got a turkey, or did you help 300 people you just got rid of the turkeys? I mean, that's the only situation I have with something like this is, how do you screen people? Is there a screening process you could use and find out, make them fill out some type of paperwork, find out what they're you really need this food, I'm going to give it to you. Or are you getting it so you can give it to your grandma? And I'll give you a personal example. My grandmother had a bunch of money in the bank, and she'd go get free commodities. She didn't need them. She didn't deserve them. But she went and got them and gave them away. Why? Because they're free. That's the problem I have with it. If I want to help somebody, I can find out they really have a true need. I'll help the needy. I don't like helping the greedy, and I'll help anybody to help themselves. But a lot of these programs are abused in that area because people get stuff just because it's free.
We have a fellow at our church that goes and gets free stuff, but he turns around and gives it to those who need it.
That's fine.
He can get it for free, and then he goes to those that he knows needs it, and he gives it away. It's not like he gets it and keeps it himself. And so I said, I can get it for free. I might as well get it and give it to people.
I have no problem with that, as long as he's doing the right thing.
And he is. That's
I know when Reader used to be in charge of Trenton, he knew who needed and who didn't. A lot of times he'd turn them around.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And that's what should be done.
Yeah.
Well, we're giving $15,000 to the senior citizen pantry, and also, who else do we have that we're doing something similar to that?
That's pretty much it for food pantry.
Okay.
the senior citizen pantry functions right here in Trenton, though, right?
Correct.
Okay.
What about
The only reason I like the one in Bell is because it does serve the other end of the county more than the one in Trenton. I mean, if you're hurting and you really need something, and then you got to drive all the way to Trenton if you live out in your neck of the woods, then
You may not have a way to
Bell
go.
is nice. And I've been by the community center in Bell lots of mornings, and when the morning the truck's coming in, there's a pile of people out there waiting for it. And like you said, some of those people I know, and I know they need it.
Yeah.
And there's other people there that I know could really not need it, but who knows, maybe they're getting it and give it to people who do.
Maybe they are. Like I
Just
said,
don't know.
I don't mind leaving it in there myself, we may not can do it in the future.
Yeah.
But I just wish, I would encourage them to come up with a way to really help the people that really. What about the Monty Food Bank? Do we give to them, the Monty Food Bank?
Bread of the Mighty?
Bread of the
Bread
Mighty?
and Mighty.
Bread and
That's
Mighty.
where
That's where the senior citizens.
That's where the
pantry
senior,
goes.
and then they recover from there?
So we send the funds directly to Bread of the Mighty, and
Okay.
then the food pantry is able to go there and use that. Basically, they're banked funds, and so they're able to purchase funds, or
Right.
purchase food through those funds.
Right. And our senior citizens, the center out there, they do a great job. They do a real good job. Those people love that. They really do. They all do all kind of stuff out there.
Okay, sounds like everybody's okay with where we're at.
For now.
For now, yeah.
I think my only concern with them was the letter that they sent that indicated that, some zip codes were outside of our county, and I think, if we're going to fund them, I think that there probably needs to be a process that, they're serving local citizens and not, outside county. I know there's needs in every county, but, I think if Gilchrist County's funding, I think that they need to be supporting, local needs as opposed to outside county.
So would that be the administrator's office correspond with them related to that?
I would think so, that, the county's happy to support your endeavors, but, please ensure that it's, for Gilchrist County
Okay,
residents.
so
And-
Caitlin, can you make a note that,
I know that, I have a Newberry address,
right,
but I'm in
There's some
Gilchrist
people
County.
in Bell
People have a grant for an
address,
address,
but
and people,
Yeah,
you know,
but some
Yeah.
of the zip codes, I recognize that because I deal with that a lot with jury. We have a ton of people that, have Gilchrist County addresses, but it looks like they're in Levy or
Yeah.
Columbia or
Yeah.
Swanee or
you can tell by the
Alachua.
address.
You can tell by the address, but the problem was some of the zip codes they had have nothing to do
Nothing
with
to do with
Gilchrist
your
County.
area.
Like, there's not,
Frankfurt.
I could pull the letter up real quick and tell you, but like, there was at least 3 zip codes that you're not gonna have in a Gilchrist County address, period. And, if you have a 32669, it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, like some of them were like High Springs addresses that are not gonna be a Gilchrist County address.
Right. Well, I have a High Springs address.
Yeah.
I think we have, 6 exchanges in Gilchrist County?
Correct.
Fort White,
Well,
Newberry, Branford.
32643, there's lots of Gilchrist County residents that have a 32643. That's a High Springs address. But a number of the zip codes they provided were not. Like,
Well, it goes right back to what you said a while ago. It's just accountability. Just,
Yeah,
we can't feed the whole state of Florida.
correct,
And we're using taxpayers' money to help this organization.
correct.
Um,
Okay. All right, next up, we have property appraiser. And
leave it in it, take it.
leaving it in right there.
you're going to find his on pages 71 through 90. I believe there's been a increase from what we put in the book.
There has. Damon Leggett, property appraiser.
Good morning.
Good to see all over this morning. Yeah, this does not reflect the 2% increase in pay that y'all discussed. I'm gonna have to get a letter to send that to revenue to get those figures back from me, because of course I'm one that has to deal with them too. So there's about $12,000 extra that's not showing in this budget due to that 2% increase in pay. So, which would bump the total increase percentage up closer to around 6%. I think it'd be just under 6%, 5.8 or 9, something like that. So, but my biggest expense this year, as you can probably see, is my capital outlay. It went from 0 to 34,000. I'm needing a truck, guys. I feel like I've shot myself in the foot now with this, because I've tried to run these trucks in the ground to get everything I could get out of them. Now we're fixing to be faced with this possible, exemption that's going to take funds away from us, and I actually need 2 trucks. I've got 2 trucks that are over 20 years old, and I'm spending more money on those trucks than either one of them are worth. This year I've probably spent twice as much as either one of them's worth. So, that's kind of where I'm at with that. hopefully that can work for this year. I'm even willing to buy a used vehicle. I'll be honest with you. I got 3 quotes. The cheapest quote was just under 34,000. The other 2 or 3 were 38 to 40,000 for literally a plain Jane little 2 or 4-wheel drive single cab pickup truck. Colorado's what I've been looking at. Colorado doesn't even make a single cab anymore. They're all double cab trucks. I've looked at the Fords, the Chevrolets. It blows me away how much these little bitty trucks that are just, plain Jane, what they're costing now compared to, of course, what we paid for those 20 years ago plus. But
So your trucks are 20 years old?
I've got a 21-year-old truck and a 20-year-old truck.
Yep.
I remember when we bought.
And the other one is probably the other one, I can't remember exactly the year. I don't know if you remember the pecan tree fell through my other one out there that would have been 20 years old, and the county actually gave me a little Ford Ranger that was a little bit newer than the 2 that I had, so it's a little bit newer than my original 2
And
trucks.
I remember you mentioning this last year during budget time about your vehicles being over 20 years
Yeah, the
old.
one has been in the shop a lot, and I'll be honest with you, the way this county has grown, my field guys need to be in the field, and when that truck's in the shop, I got one sitting in the office, and I got Department of Revenue kind of breathing down my neck that, they got a rule in place that I'm supposed to actually put my feet on every piece of property in this county every 5 years, and we've got 17,000 parcels to do that with, and it's a struggle when you got a truck sitting at B&J.
Yeah.
So,
You buy off a state contract? Do you buy them off a state contract?
Well, I did the last time we did it. Yeah,
20 years
it was forever ago,
Right.
and that's kind of what I've done this year. I've reached out on a state contract. I actually reached out to Ralph to see if he could help me on who they've dealt with, because I know they deal with vehicles a whole lot more than I do. And like I say, I'm gonna do whatever it's gonna take if it's a used vehicle to get rid of the one that is just continually costing me money. And then, for next year, I'm just saying I'm possibly gonna be coming back to do this again.
Well, sometimes people don't realize that they wonder what we do and why we do it and how we do it. But like you said, you wait 20 years, you take your repair bill over 20 years, you could have bought you a new truck.
Sure.
Now you got a 20-year-old truck that you're still repairing, that you're
Right.
still trying to upkeep. You take that, I know when I served on the board the first time, we had some dump trucks, and they were the same way. It was the motor, it was the transmission, it was the rear end, it went on and on and on. We wound up buying some new dump trucks, and they cut the repair bill to nothing. We took the repair bill and paid for the trucks almost. It's just that simple, but people don't understand, well, why'd you go buy a new truck? Because mine's 21 years old, and I spend more money on it than what I could buy a new truck for. It's
Right.
not hard to figure out.
Yeah, but I know, we're fixing to be faced with some tough stuff.
Yep.
In November, just what, Mr. Duke's talking about. There's a couple different things that's, definitely trying to kick the thing, the 5-year. They're saying that's unconstitutional. There's a few different things going on with this, legislation right now that, that they're trying to kick it out because of.
Yeah.
We're all gonna be faced with tough stuff. It's just gonna put more work on me. I'm gonna have to administer these
Yep.
exemptions. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Right.
I know, the entire United States is hurting economy-wise right now. People, taxes are killing everybody, and me too. But it's, y'all are gonna have some tough decisions going forward on how you're gonna fund this kind of stuff. And so we're all gonna be in it together.
Yep. Less money, less service. That's what it's gonna come down to.
I know we have bought a lot of new vehicles in the last several years. Every time one comes up, we go, "What? Do we need another new one?" And but there's just nothing left in the county that's of quality that can be transferred over there. I know usually Bobby has a pretty good outlook of who's got extra vehicles and things like that. And even if some vehicles could be sold or gotten rid of, and those funds could be used to help do it, that needs to be something we look into, because we have bought a lot of new vehicles in the last 5 years. The last 5 years, I think we bought at least 1 or 2 new vehicles just about every year.
If there's a newer vehicle hand-me-down around here, I'll
You'll
take
take
it. I'm not,
We
guys,
just
I
need
will
to see
do
what's
whatever.
available.
It doesn't matter to me how I get the vehicle. We just need a vehicle, and I need to quit pumping money into these 2 vehicles that are
20 years
20
old.
years old. You know, I
Maybe
mean,
we
I'm
can look into that.
I'm not above any of it. I'll help, you know, any way I can, and that's why I feel like I've done it. But
Yes.
like I say, that's what I feel like I've kind of shot myself in the foot with these things now, because I keep prolonging this, and now we may be faced with some tough stuff. But and you know, kind of, you know, speaking back to earlier in the year, things are cooling down. You know, we're seeing sales slow down. We're seeing values coming down. People are slashing prices. We didn't have to, you know, the tax roll did not move this year like it did the year before. And guys, I think we finally hit this top. You know, we're at the top, and I think things are going to level off. And additional funds, you know, you're not going to. I don't think you're going to see the additional funds that we've been seeing. You know, and on top of not getting additional funds and, you know, a tax exemption, you know, it's going to be tricky to work through. So.
Yeah, I know, since I've been on the board, your budgets have been no increase or just slightly increased. So what you're asking for is not unreasonable, and I think we ought to try to support that if we can do that. And I think the board,
you know,
obviously agrees.
I don't think my office is any more important than any other office in this county, but those guys getting in that field is what creates that
That's right.
that tax roll that we're able to give you the.
You still got a
13
job to
million.
do, no matter
That's
what.
right.
You still got a job to do. And you do a good job.
I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Damon,
Damon.
is the 34,000, that's just for one truck?
That's one truck.
You're right, you need 2 trucks.
Yes.
But that's
I
for
need
one.
2 trucks.
Okay.
That's for one vehicle, yeah.
And your quotes were right in that range, the 3 quotes you said?
They're all, the quotes that I actually got 4 quotes. The cheapest one was 32.5. Everything else was over 37, 38. I think I may have put some of them in the packet. But, yeah, I was really amazed at how expensive those small trucks have gotten. You know, when you're talking about a 4-cylinder and you know, the only thing I was asking basically out of it's 4-wheel drive, because, you know, if you're out there stuck, then you got to get one of the other guys to come get you, you know, so, and we went through that before, so, but anyway, be glad to answer any questions I can.
Good job.
We appreciate everything you do, Damon.
Thank you.
You do a great job, and
Appreciate it.
I'm not opposed to that. I just want to make sure that all of our resources in the county are being used efficiently by everybody.
I agree, and
And,
like I say,
you know,
if
if there's
there's,
someone out there that's got a truck that's in pretty good shape, that's got 10 years on it, but it's in good shape, then that would be a whole lot better than a truck that's broke down all the time that's 20 years old.
I remember us getting a truck from years and years ago from another department, and we run it till it wasn't any good anymore. Like I say, I'm not opposed to a used truck, but I need a truck, you know what I mean, so,
Get you one and look for another one.
right,
We'll take a look and see what
We have
the county
also.
has, yep.
sure, all right.
Thank you, Damon.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And just for the record, we do have his raise already included in the budget.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he's got to
Not
submit.
included on his thing, but it
Right,
is
it's not included on
in the
this sheet, but it has already been calculated and
All right, thank you.
included. So next we have fire. You'll find it on pages 111 and 112.
Good morning, sir. Looks like you have a decrease, looks like in fire. Is that right?
Yes, slightly on there because we don't have the capital purchases out of that one as well.
Okay.
And I know on our payroll, we've had a couple things that moved over. I think with EMS. If they're dual certified, we can pay them out of fire. If they're not, some of those come out of EMS.
What percent are dual certified?
Percentage wise, probably 65, 70%.
Okay, a bigger percentage.
Yes, sir. Most of them are dual certified, but we won't turn down paramedics because they don't have fire.
Right.
Because they're going to be staffing ambulance most of the time. So I think as of now, I have one person. I have two on payroll today. One of them's last day is next week. That is a single certified EMT. And the only other single certified EMT that's working with us is currently in paramedic school. So
I was fixing to say, aren't a lot of your EMTs also trying to get their fire certification? Is that,
most of them are going through paramedic right now, which
Okay.
is very valuable for us because that's a hard spot we have staffing on the trucks. We've opened up our fire EMT positions because we've recently gotten a few vacancies there. So we're working on filling those, but we have got several applicants. They're just going through the HR process now. Paramedics are the ones we're having a hard time retaining. So, again, capital-wise, we're not really looking to make any major expenditures capital-wise this year. We should have not in this budget, but the grant for the pumper tanker, the large fire truck, that will probably be coming out of this current, the next budget. But that's not in the fire fund. That's in a separate grant account. Yeah. So, as far as actual expenditures for that, we were kind of low on our capital on that year. Let's see.
so we've got basically two new ambulances that are in the fleet now, and you got a new tanker.
We have a new squad truck which we picked up. We've already paid for that. That come out of the 301 account that we just picked up from South Dakota. That's being upfitted right now.
Right.
There was a couple issues when it got here, so they're doing some. The dealers come down and done some work on it. The charging ports weren't working on the back of it, so they're working on that. We've got one ambulance currently being built now.
Right.
The two new ambulances we've got are both in the shop again. So we're working on the backup trucks right now. But
What's wrong with the new one? So what's the?
one of them has an exhaust filter issue, and the other one, the AC has went out. But those trucks are just over 2 years old, and we're about 160,000 miles on both those trucks already. So in this current budget that we're presenting, and this is going to be on the EMS side, we do not have a new truck in there. The truck that is being built right now should be done by October 1, and that was partially grant funded. But I will be coming to you during next year to plan for a truck in the following budget. Because those trucks take about right now they're about 16 months out. They're going to drop down.
It takes over a year.
Yes, sir. So we will be looking at doing that. We're going to need to put another one on. But we can skip this budget year. We can skip.
Okay.
So we don't have one coming up for that. And we will obviously see grant funding for that as well too.
Good.
Well, we appreciate anytime you see places that you can save money and skip one of those things. That's certainly appreciated. I know in the past, though, we've done a lot to help you keep your equipment up. You've done great with getting grants and finding things that were being extras here. I know the fire department over at Fannin, they got a big shipment in from Miami of some stuff that they I went to one of their meetings, and so I appreciate y'all looking and seeing what's available out there to save the taxpayers in Gilchrist County every dollar we can save them. So thank you.
Well, we purchased used trucks. We purchased most of them on a grant. And I went back just because there's a lot of questions about vehicles. We went back and looked, and Fire and EMS has not paid full price for a truck in the last 10 years. So prior to that, we had loans to buy our ambulances. The fire trucks were pretty much, I think there was one fire truck that was still on, that we still owed money on, which was the tanker. That's been paid off. As far as vehicles, we don't owe any money on vehicles for loans, and we've not paid full price. We've paid probably 25% of what it would cost to keep this fleet up through grants. This last one was almost, it's gonna be actually over $1 million truck, and 975,000 of that was through an appropriations. This truck we just picked up was, by the time it's outfitted, it'll be 400,000, and that'll be 100% covered by appropriations.
That's awesome.
So, even the other vehicles in our fleet, like I said, everything has been grant funded, which has helped us tremendously in not having a debt service every time. I think the only thing we have on there now is the air packs, which we did a 20-year loan on the air packs 10 years ago.
That's another thing that people don't sometimes realize. When you call for an ambulance, you couldn't say, well, my truck's in the shop. I'll be there as soon as I get my truck out of the shop. You can't do that. I mean, just like a fire truck, those vehicles have to be in good shape. They have to be dependable. They have to be responsive and respond to the call. So a lot of people sometimes take it for granted. Well, why'd you do that? Because like Damon said, he's driving a 20-year-old truck. You get out there and it won't crank, then what do? You just have to keep that stuff up. It's just mandatory that you do that. But sometimes people don't realize, why did you do that, or question us, or why did you do that? Well, the reason we did is because of the problems we're having. Or it's got to go. It's got to go. Ambulance, you can't put it off.
Yeah, and we're hoping to be able to, and we haven't done remounts on an ambulance in a while because the savings isn't there. If they want to charge us $25,000 less to remount a $400,000 truck, we still have old parts in there, and at least now we can keep that other truck on the road, even though it's not as reliable. You see we have several trucks parked at the barn. We're in those trucks right now. We had to go up to the barn recently and say, okay, all of our primary trucks are in the shop. Let's start rotating these guys through, and that's what we're running out of today. Every truck we're running out of today has 300,000 miles or more on it. Hopefully we get these out of the shop this week.
I went down here a couple weeks ago, and Chief Campbell and Ralph gave me a tour of everything, and looked at the new fire truck, beautiful truck and all that kind of stuff. But one point that you really made that hit me is, like ambulance, they wonder about, why do we have so many ambulances and have so many this and so many this. You got a wreck at 129 and 340. There's 6 people involved. You don't have 6 ambulances out there. Maybe 5 of them needs to be transported. Which one you going to pick goes first? You're going to take this one and come back and get another one? I mean, what do you do in a situation? Of course, you got outside resources, I understand that. But a lot of times there's multiple people involved in an accident. And if you do have a backup, that you got out there it's got 300,000 miles on it, but look, it'll run, it'll go, call that one out. That's important. If it was my family, my children needed an ambulance, all of us was in the vehicle together, how important would that be?
Yes,
very, very important.
Yeah, we have, when you look on the hill, it looks like there's several trucks sitting there, but.
I get questioned about that.
Yeah. Well, and that's, this time last year, both of these trucks were in the shop last year because people wrecked into them. Yeah. And they were both in the body shop last year. We can go great we can have a brand new fleet. And in 30 minutes, I'll be in all backups again. It's just, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
And that's just what's happening now. One of them we dropped off at the shop yesterday, and hopefully we'll have that back this week. Yeah. And I believe they're working on the AC. Those newer trucks, when the AC goes out, you pop one out, pop one back in. It's
right.
Supposedly a 2-hour fix, so I'm hoping they'll get a text here in a little bit that it's ready to go.
Good.
Chief, you say you're having death trouble with this new exhaust stuff.
Yes, sir.
Is that against the government rules for us to lead our stuff off our ambulances? I know Trump passed it to where we can.
Well, without even researching that, I'd say with about 99.99% certainty it probably is illegal to take it off of there unless you have special dispensation for some reason.
We are researching anything that we can get on that. The mechanic shop right now is doing the diagnostics on the DEF system on this truck.
Because as soon as you don't have it on there, then that's going to be the issue that caused some kind of damages to someone.
Well, they're some of these places are offering the service now publicly. We're looking into every avenue of that, or even a reprogram.
As long as it's legal.
Yep. We're looking into it. They're going to give us a price both ways, but I think this one is probably going to be more of a simple fix, hopefully. So, but anytime you get that DEF system, that's $1,000 at least. So I'm hoping looking to get that truck back.
I'm
pretty
looking to
fast.
get rid of it on my truck.
James, on these contracts, this aid to government agencies, can you explain the Fannin Springs contract, the Trenton contract?
Yes, sir. So, Fanning Springs is here as well too.
That's
So-
one reason I was speaking.
Yes, sir. And I know Trenton's still here as well too, so I'm gonna address the Trenton side of it first. We've all, since I've been here, we've had a set amount of money that we've done between those two agencies. They've kind of went back and forth, so we were stale for a very long time. When I first started, Fannin Springs had a little bit higher because we helped them purchase a truck. A couple of years back, we increased Fanning Springs because, when Chief Taylor took over, he restructured that department. Out of 300 and something calls we called them for in our zone that year, they responded to every single one of them. And if that was one man on a truck, they responded. They showed up every single time. It was one of those, I could page it just like I page my page stations, and I'm gonna get an immediate response. They've requested an increase. We put one in here. I'm gonna let Chief Taylor talk to you about that as well too. But for Trenton, recently they went back to a volunteer model department. They were only answering about 50% of the calls prior to that, but now it's, the percentage is greatly dropped. We're providing aid to Trenton more than Trenton's providing aid to us. And I don't know when the last time I went on a call that they were there while they're doing their restructure and whatnot. I don't think that we can afford to continue to pay the little bit that we pay them with Fanning asking for an increase. Fanning Springs is running the calls with us in Trenton.
Well, you know that, where that leaves me is Trenton going to be expected to cover his own?
No. Trenton's, and as of right now, they're not, we're covering Trenton. Now, they've made some changes in their department, and maybe those changes look up later on, but as of right now.
They just need to know where they stand. Are they
Yes.
still gonna be expected to cover that zone? Or no,
I
it's
mean,
gonna be-
they may still receive calls out there, but they're not, we don't penalize them now.
Right,
We've had the
right.
same structure and pay for them for
Right.
a while, and they're,
So your recommendation is to discontinue the Trenton contract and increase the Fannin Springs contract?
correct. And we just kind of moved the money over to the Fanning Springs side because they are the ones helping us cover Trenton.
I know Fannin Springs is covering a lot. I went out and talked with them and found out that most of a large number of their calls are for Gilchrist County.
Yeah.
Well, so Fanning's and I'm gonna let them speak to where he responds to more, but I will tell you, when Chief Taylor took over, they were responding, I might get 1-2 people on a truck. Now I'm getting 2 trucks and multiple people on every single call. We just had 2 structure fires, in the city last Thursday. And they showed up with as many people as I brought. In fact, I just got back in town from Orlando last Thursday, and when I took command, we needed somebody to do work on the roof, which is early on in the call, and Fanning Springs was the one that executed that for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're showing up with, that they're providing us with not just running more calls, but they are showing up with more people. And again, Chief Taylor can attest to their training. Their level of training now meets the same as the guys that we're paying.
Well, we appreciate them because
Yeah,
I see them,
that's
I see Fannin everywhere.
Appreciate them.
Thank y'all.
They're kind of in my district, and I've got over,
That's good.
and they're doing a great job. That's why
Well, and
we
there's-
do what we can for them.
There's things like in their zone, with the city of Trenton, not city of Trenton, but like Trenton High School, myself and the city will kind of back and forth on who takes care of the schools. In Bell, if they have a display or something, we take care of the schools. Fannin Springs stepped up and they're taking care of Riverside, which a lot of times gets left out on some of those. In Trenton, we always offer it to the city first, but having kids in school, they call both of us. Sometimes they call both of us, and sometimes call neither one of us until the last minute. But, we share that one. Bell County takes care of Riverside. I mean, they go to their football games. They stay engaged in the zone that we've given them, and if we're on 138 and need a tanker truck, they're going to be on 138 with a tanker truck and probably at least 2 people. So I'll let Chief Taylor, if y'all want to speak to Chief Taylor, I'll let him talk to you a little bit.
Chief, has collections picked up any?
EMS building?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I believe and I was just looking over the numbers, but the report that I just got was a little off. When we go over EMS though, I will get Richard to, if you give us the actual number, because I didn't have it this morning.
I have not seen one as of this month for July, but I can give you what your number is.
I just got that one yesterday.
Good morning. Yes, sir. Come on up, and we appreciate y'all being here and appreciate all your help, as we've just discussed.
First of all, I want to say good morning to everybody. This is our first time coming and speaking with you guys. I'm the fire chief. My name is Wallace Tellum, the fire chief of Sandy Springs. Today we have Captain Pittman. He's going to discuss a little bit as far as the operation point and the process of what's going on in Sandy Springs. I'm going to speak more on the administration, and I'm going to give you some numbers, okay? City of Sandy Springs, I started during the worst time of America, and that's when COVID hit. We didn't know what to do. And being honest, we did not know what to do. But we got through it. The mayor, Tripp Lancaster, he's behind me, and also we got our city clerk, Mr. Charlene. So if you have any questions, we all here. But when COVID hit, the mayor, he shook my hand and he said, hey, I want you to be the fire chief. It was a great decision, but hey, what we gonna do about COVID? Mr. Mayor, I don't know. So me and Chief Campbell, we had to sit down with the medical director, and we got some instructions on what to do. I swore in January of 2021. First thing I looked at the budget, Chief Campbell, let's have a conversation. At that point, we was receiving from Gilchrist County $31,000. First thing I asked, we need an increase. He looked at me and said, well, you're not really covering calls. Let's give it a little moment. Let's see what we could do. At that point of time, he is right. We was basically a volunteer department. Just like Trenton. Nothing against them. I've been there myself. We had guys that wasn't certified, that needed to get certified. We was missing some calls. So with the mayor backing and our city council backing, we had to put some things in place. So all of our members right now is currently certified. Firefighter EMT is a firefighter paramedic besides one member. Today, every member of our fire department is minimum Fire 1 or Fire 2 besides one individual, and he's a paramedic. City of Sandy Springs, we operate 24/7, 7 days a week. Under my supervision and my chain of command and our city backing, we only miss one call that I remember, and that was in COVID. And that's because our guys ran a call in Levy County, and our members received COVID. I came in. Now, I don't live in the county. I don't live in Gilchrist or Levy County. I live in Orlando. So I commuted back with Chief Campbell. We communicated, and we never missed a call since then. We provided service to Levy County, Gilchrist County, and Dixie County. We are very busy. The reason why we come in to ask you guys today for an increase because the level of service that we provided have increased it over the last 5 years. Now, like Chief Campbell said, and I think the property appraiser stated, vehicles do cost money. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. Our vehicles today, just to show you, the newest vehicle we purchased and it's used was a 1998 engine. A 1998 engine. The newest fleet that we received after that, or before that, was a 2014 brush truck, which caught on fire here on 129, what that fire was, a solar plant fire. Our truck caught on fire. So, what you say, sir?
It was out.
Not fair with that area. So right next to this truck. So we was out of a brush truck for 1 year. One whole year. You guys never seen City of Sandy Springs. Fire chief come and ask you guys for money. But we went from $31,000 in 2020. I met with Chief Campbell in 2022. That increase came into $51,974,000. And today we haven't received any more increases after that. So as you can see, we're taking a beating on our trucks. We're taking a beating on our equipment. And you can see from the apparatus standpoint and operations, if we run a lot of calls in Trenton, that means we spend a lot of more time in Trenton and Bell in your area. We don't mind running the calls, but we need your help. I'm going to just give you some numbers of Levy County because I'm transparent with both counties. In the last 5 years, when I became fire chief, our budget was $81,333,000. This is in Levy County. The next year, we went up to 91,353. The following year, we went up 114,372. 2024, we got an increase of 152,000, and current today, we at 172,000. I just went ahead and did a presentation 2 weeks ago with Levy County, and our level of service went up, and it wasn't just me, it was other fire chiefs. And the asking, we was looking at 60%, but due to the November, we had to come in and a homestead exempt. We brought it down to 40,000. That'll give us a total of $212,000 that we'll receive from Levy County. If you give me a minute, I can tell you what City of Phoenix Springs contributes to our fire department. If we put all three together, Levy County right now currently, they support Phoenix Springs with 172,322. Gilchrist County, 151,972. And City of Phoenix Springs, their contribution is 294,184. I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to let Captain Pittman, he's going to give you guys a list of how old our fire engines are, and he's going to give you some call numbers if you need it.
Chief, do you have a total on those?
Sir?
Do you have a total on those three that you just, those?
$518 and $480.
I got a question. You said you run some, calls into Dixie County. Has there ever been any, idea of?
It's just mutual aid only. It's not that many.
Okay, okay.
We just ran a big call right now to lumber, and
Yes.
something like that is mutual aid, so it's nothing extra funding. So
Okay,
we probably run maybe 5 calls a year,
okay.
if not that.
I just know you're right there on the border, so I didn't know if y'all did, Old Town area or not. Y'all don't run the calls in Old
No,
Town.
so they have a
We go from
Chief-
mutual aid,
Yeah,
and that's it. And
Chief,
part of it, overstep my bounds, Triple Lane Caps for mayor, saying the numbers he's giving you, a little over 500,000. Our general budget for this year is 1,038,000. That's 50% of our entire budget for everything.
Yeah.
So, and we are shouldering almost 30% of that. So,
is that current year budget, or is that 27? Is that 27 or is that 26 budget? The
no,
fu-
this is gonna be 26, 27, we'll be 1,038,000. We're a little, the budget for, this year, 25, 26, we're right in the same area, like 1,050,000.
What's the percent from revenue from your property tax, ad valorem? If the property tax amendment passes, what percent or?
With what we will lose from talking to Chris over there in Damon's office, the first year will be 35% from ad valorem and Gilchrist. It's about 35% from Levy. We actually have a little more high-end homes in Gilchrist with Riverwalk and some of those stuff on the river. That in the following year would go to about 45%, 50% in Gilchrist, and then we would save. Randy told me like 38, 39% in Levy. So it's just not quite as many higher stuff. So, but we would lose most of it all in one deal.
Mm-hmm.
Trip, currently you guys, your fire is all within your ad valorem, correct?
So,
Your fire is funded strictly out of ad valorem, correct?
strictly out of one.
Have you considered a fire assessment?
We are.
Okay,
We are. In fact, that'll be on our agenda tonight
okay.
to move forward with getting it approved by our city council to sign the agreement to do the study that's going to be required.
Okay.
So we absolutely are, yes. After speaking with you about the 1% tax, you can only do one or the other to benefit the fire department. So we're going to start with the assessment because, frankly, you know, our ISO in Fannin is 4. Everybody here pays homeowners insurance. A 4 makes a huge difference on what your bill is.
So, what is trucking? I don't even know.
Chief, do you know?
Brittany, what's the ISO here? Do you know? I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, I should know that, but I don't know.
I'm sorry, that's what, way out of left field.
James probably knows.
My
I
apologies.
believe if the last one they had was a 5.
Yeah.
The county's a split, we're 5-5 wide. Anything close to the fire station or water source gets the 5 rating.
Yeah,
And I believe and one of the biggest things that hold us up to get to a 4 is the staffing levels.
right.
We have to staff the whole county. Their ISO needs to show for the city.
But it does make a difference, because we're running towards that.
Yeah, and if you're not showing up with 4 people on call, you're not gonna get the ISO level 4.
Right.
Now, even if they go all the way down to an ISO level 1, the savings aren't as vast right there, but to hold that 4 it's
Oh,
hard to hold.
yeah, it's tremendous.
Yeah, and with them actually having the 4, and that's another thing I wanted to address too, is that, when Chief Taylor first took over, when the last shakeup they had over there, I actually met with Tripp. We sat down and looked at the budget, went through everything.
Yeah, we went through it line by line.
They
Yes,
buy
we
used
did.
vehicles. Chief Taylor's getting equipment donated from other places, he's finding the stuff.
The latest acquisitions we just got, and as far as vehicles, was retired trucks from Swanee County. That's what he was talking about. The new engine we got, the 1998, retired from Swanee County. We are doing everything we can to stay within our means. Because our means are not very much.
They also apply for every grant that we,
Absolutely.
the grants that we apply for, they apply for. And after the first year or two, Chief Taylor's calling me saying, hey, I found a grant, sharing that information back. Also, with doing these grants, they had to go through the same checklist that we did to get checked off from the state of Florida. And they're 100% compliant on their fire
Yeah.
department.
So,
with that
I'm
too.
glad to see y'all working together instead of working against each other.
Oh,
Instead of
absolutely.
competing, but work together and, cause they do a great service for our county.
Well, and
so.
the issue is the same with, Trenton comes back up to it one day, but for me to put on one firefighter, one full-time paid firefighter, correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, around 85,000 a year, by the time you pay benefits, insurance.
That's about right.
Oh, we need at least 3 of them to have 24/7 coverage. So it's a huge benefit to us that these guys are now showing up with.
Yeah.
yeah.
The bottom line is, the service that y'all are providing is a great deal for what you're asking for. And so I don't know, I
We
support
feel it
that.
is.
Yeah. So I don't know how the board feel.
I don't have no problem.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all respond when we need y'all and
Thank you.
y'all help us.
Public safety
Still
is
had
important.
someone who wanted to speak on your,
Yeah.
Mr.
on
Pickett.
your
Yeah.
vehicles you had.
You got any questions for me? I mean, I do the calls for the city, for every meeting and all. Whether it goes into county, city calls and all that. Y'all have any questions in regards to that? I also I'm over the vehicle maintenance over there at the department. Right now we have our engine 77, right now it's out of service. Our squad right now is out of service as well. So we're running out of the tanker, engine 7701, and our brush truck. Again, they're used vehicles. We've been trying to, put Band-Aids on them and make, everything else, one thing's happened and another thing happens. We applied for a grant for a new apparatus. Unfortunately, we didn't get that grant. So, I mean, we're trying to do what we can do with the staffing and the men that we have. We have great work relations with Chief Campbell and his crews. And I think it's, making sure everybody in that big Gilchrist County area is good, Any questions for me?
I don't think so.
Thank
We
you very much.
appreciate what
We
y'all are
appreciate
doing.
what y'all do.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
So as far as the fund balance for fire,
So could we go back to the fund balance slide? So this is the history of fund balance for fire over the last number of years. As you can see in '23 and '24, we had a pretty big drawdown on fund balance. In '23, we reduced by a little over 281,000. In '24, by almost 248,000. That was due to capital purchases that were planned. In 2025, we added 300 and almost 43,000. If you recall, that 2025 was when we had to supplement from the general fund, $350,000. So that's the reason for the increase in fund balance in '25. This year, we're estimating that we'll add around $46,000 if all revenues come in as projected and all expenditures come in as projected. For 2027, based on our proposed revenues and proposed expenditures, we would anticipate practically a break even with a loss of about $6,000.
and this is provided, the revenue's coming from fire assessment.
That's correct. And our fire assessment currently is at 177, and last night, you agreed to do a continuation rate moving forward. And that is what our revenues are projected at.
Okay.
What are they required to have as a bottom line in the fund balance for the fire?
Fire fund balance requirement for this year is $273,000.
So we're in good shape right
We're
now.
in pretty good shape there, yeah.
We're in pretty good shape. It does provide for some future capital expenditures that, as Chief mentioned, is going to be necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on
So
fire?
that's kind of good to have when we have to have those, to match some of those grants. We'll have that
Correct.
for a new ambulance.
Yeah, well, and the way we have everything set up now, we've not done this in the past. If we could actually, with the fire assessment, because the trucks that we purchase now for ambulances are a little bit larger because they have room to carry all the fire equipment. There's a way we could pay a portion of that out of the fire. We've not done that in the past. So, but when we did our fire assessment, it pretty much said those vehicles could be paid 50% out of each, just the same as we did the squad. For an actual engine, I wouldn't split those up, but.
For ambulance, though, you can do that.
Ambulance, yes. I don't see us buying a new fire engine unless somebody gives us another $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next up, we have EMS.
Brittany, did you need to speak?
I would like to on behalf of
Oh,
City Trent.
absolutely.
Thank you so much. Brittany Mills, City Manager, City of Trenton. I just wanted to, just quickly, I know talk of City of Trenton has been addressed, and I just wanted to speak on behalf of the city, just to make sure that I do want to recognize Chief Campbell and his assistants that he's actually given us over our new restructure. Definitely has decreased our call volume. I was actually looking real quickly, and unfortunately, I don't have county-specific call, but I would like to just point out, in 2022, we were still actually at the 31,974 we were getting contributed to, getting contributions. We were running 257 calls then, and then in 2023, we jumped up to 528. Now, again, this is all calls, city and county. In 2024, we were at 677. 2025, we were at 637. So we definitely have been increasing our calls citywide. Of course, I can speak with Chief Campbell and identify which of those are county versus city, but we definitely have been serving those calls over the years without any increase in contributions. And of course, that definitely hinders big time on county versus city, and I understand that. What I would ask the board is just to consider, I understand Bannon Springs absolutely is showing up. They've been great. They've helped us out even in the city, and I greatly appreciate that. We currently have our new fire chief that just was voted in. We have 4 active volunteers. Of those, 2 are fire 2s, and they stayed over from the prior police department that downsized to just the 1. So we actually have another fire level 2 coming on board. We do anticipate our services to increase over the next few months, and our projections for this year, or goal I should say, is going to be a total of 562. So we're hoping to be right on track with where we have been. Taking in consideration, not all of those are in the county. I just wanted to ask the board's consideration. I understand maybe not the 31,974, but if there's any consideration for any portion of that that could still help assist us with our financing. We don't operate with levy funds. We have an assessment which brings in 212, plus the county's contribution gives us a total budget of $247,000 to operate our fire department.
What's your special assessment in the town?
244 right now.
That's what they pay?
Mm-hmm.
Each resident's paid $244?
Yes, ma'am. And we would love to have decreased the assessment for our residents to match the county would be ideal. We are actually in the process of discussing that at our next meeting. But right now, our total budget is $247,000 with county contribution and assessment at this time. Once those funds from the county are reduced, we're struggling to make sure that we can keep good people and pay them appropriately and keep our equipment maintained as well. So I just want the board just to take that into consideration, understanding the budget cuts and contributing to Fanning, because it's well-deserved in Fanning, for sure. I just would like the board to keep City of Trenton in mind and allow us to grow and rebuild our department. It does take funds. Okay?
Thank you, Brittany.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would suggest that we follow up and talk with Chief Campbell related to your question. But, so you're charging $244 for fire assessment. Trenton also pay the county or not? Not.
The fire assessment does not, no.
Okay.
We pay Trenton to cover just the same as we do Fanning. There's a zone outside of it that we pay them to help us with the calls on the outside. We provide just the same as we do Fanning. If they have a structure fire in their city or a large fire in their city, we're going to come in and help them. And the numbers were great that the city was running total, but when they had the full-time department, when they had the police officers and everything, those were mostly medical calls in the city of Trenton. The last time we looked at the numbers, and it is a couple of years old, we requested them 350 times and received service less than half of that. When the city officers were running, it jumped up quite a bit because even if we didn't ask them to come on a call, they're right there, and they jumped right in and helped us. It was probably some of the best response we've ever had because they had dual certified officers that could do EMS, fire, law enforcement. They're going to show up on a call. They wouldn't just sit there hidden underneath an oak tree. So we did have a great service with them. Going to the volunteer side, it's just, and I want them to grow. Same grants, everything. If we get something, we try to spread that out to them as well too. So we just had to do something with Fanning because myself and Fanning are covering the calls in the city of Trenton. And I know this is coming right here, Kurt, because I didn't want to talk to them yet. Me and Bobby had discussed it. We wanted to see how y'all felt about it and then go to them and see what else could be done. But right now the response has dropped drastically, but they have had a lot of changes. So we can get the additional numbers. I've asked dispatch again to pull the numbers for us, but they're the ones that actually have the full records. Her, myself, Fanning, none of us can access the records without going through the sheriff's office. And it's a huge task on them.
So right now it's just volunteer.
Yes, ma'am.
So maybe, once they do get certified and get their staff back, maybe they come back to us. But
well,
right
the other
now,
thing we've looked at too, and I don't know if they're, I know we've spoken about it with them, but we are looking into the surtax.
Mm-hmm.
That number would help the city quite a lot as well. And I know we spoke that you can't do an assessment and the surtax.
You can do assessment and a surtax, you can't have the same dollars. So, I mean, that's the challenge in it is, it gives some potential funding, but it's just replacing funding. So, like for the city.
Now, it replaces funding, but and just so I understand this too, if you get $100,000 from the surtax and you had a $100,000 budget, next year you have a $200,000 budget, but only $100 from the surtax, you can supplement that with your fire assessment, correct?
I believe so, because I don't know how I've been trying to work through that as well, trying to figure out how to, because every year you have potential increases with, your insurance, your FRS, if you provide a raise, so your budget is increasing. So my assumption is that, yes, that if your budget increased, but the bottom line is whatever you receive as a surtax, you have to reduce that.
You still have to have your balanced budget.
Correct.
But.
So the 100,000, you receive 100,000, you have to reduce 100,000. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm trying to figure that out as I work through this, but.
So, and I'll get with you too, because I found some departments that do it, and just like us as well, if the surtax started right now, we would still have a fire assessment and still have an MSTU.
Correct.
To bridge the gap.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it would not completely eliminate because there's not enough funding to do it.
Yeah, and from what I've seen too, you look at the past year of, hey, we needed to increase services, and obviously we can't go and increase the sales tax. We may receive the money from that, but we supplement our MSTU and our fire assessment to help out with that.
Correct.
So I'm hoping that if that goes through and the city comes on with that as well, that would give them probably means to have a paid department again. But with the volunteer department, and we didn't have a lot of the budget to move around, so that's what moved from there. There's no response right now. We're hoping that picks up there. I'll get with Ms. Brittany on it as well too.
Chief, you said Trenton's not responding, not called out to you?
They are still responding to some calls, but I just pulled the numbers for last month. And it was about 10% of the total calls that they were paged to. Now, that doesn't look at city versus county because I can't pull that number from my CAD. I can pull just a little bit.
Yeah, January through June, we answered 281 calls. Again, that's not county specific, that's just total, and a lot of those mostly are med calls.
We're just cutting them out completely. And I just don't think that's right. If they are responding some, and if they on their last leg, I'd rather help them get on both feet than just cut them completely.
Well, and if y'all choose to put more in there, but as far as in the county, they are still responding to calls. When we call that station, they are still showing up in the city. We're not getting much in the county. I can pull those numbers again, but and again, it takes me, I can go through the little CAD system and check them myself.
Yeah.
Chief,
but it is,
would you say it's a 1-to-1? Like, are we responding more to City of Trenton?
we respond more to the city of Trenton.
Okay.
Just to clarify, is that med calls or fire calls? Because we're not med. We're not certified to do med calls.
Yeah, why don't y'all get together and discuss it and then make a recommendation? And because we don't know that, and it would be better if y'all would do that.
Yeah, no, I would
and
much
give
rather do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and, yeah, get back with us.
Okay.
I agree with what we're doing for Fannin, but I don't agree cutting Trenton completely.
Yeah, that was, like I said, that was what was proposed to me as well, so I was, and we're gonna seek y'all's direction on that and get with her. When I saw her today, I was like, it's great, she'll be here for the conversation, so.
Okay.
I can at least have some, because I can't tell what their inner workings, but I just know what we've been doing, and what we've been covering on.
Okay, y'all get together and we'll follow up on that.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, we're ready to move on to ambulance rescue.
We got my sheets almost up here. There we go.
it looks like you got a slight decrease in budget from last year to this year.
Better not discuss it, might be an increase for it too.
Well, I think overall, there's a little bit of an increase there.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing a negative 0.1%.
But I didn't see it. 0.1%.
You done increased
I
it?
gotta make sure I got my papers right here, because I was fiddling with these things a minute ago.
It may not include the 2% pay, does it?
This shouldn't, I don't believe this one includes 2%.
Yeah, it looks like you're operating.
So my question, it looks like we're going to have an additional workshop to readdress fire. If we could come back around with EMS, we'll address both of them at the same time,
Okay.
if we could do that.
When's our next scheduled meeting?
We don't currently have one on the calendar. We were hoping to kind of wrap it up today, but at this point, the only way for us to readdress is for us to have, an additional workshop. I would say it wouldn't be very long, but we're going to need to come back together. So today is August 4th. Chief, how long do you think it would take for you to get your numbers for City of Trenton?
I requested them 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So I will get back. Benita's the one that handles that for us.
Okay.
And,
So,
she normally calls me about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, because she said it'll be office working, so I'm trying to, we had some other requested numbers from them as well that took priority, for some investigations on a call, but I'll go down and get with her again today if I can.
Okay.
so if we were to
Give me
meet on
access,
the,
I'd look it up.
if we were to meet on the 13th, it's next Thursday, it gives us a little over a week. Would that be a sufficient amount of time?
Yeah, can the board do that?
We can do the 13th.
Can we meet early?
It would be fine with me.
Because that is also the,
I'm not.
that's the Bill's
You busy?
meeting date.
No,
Okay.
I'm free on the 13th.
You all okay? 13th, everybody's good.
What
Okay.
time?
Do a morning meeting, is that what you're,
9 a.m. again?
9 AM on the 13th?
Okay.
All right, we'll do that.
Richard just pointed out, they put all of the budgets together, including the community paramedicine. So yes, in EMS, there was a decrease, but we added community paramedicine into it, which is the grant funded position, which is why my bottom number looks a little higher.
Okay.
I got these yesterday, so I've been trying to, go over everything, 'cause
Yeah, this right here does not include the community paramedic. This is only 26-200.
okay,
Department 26.
yes.
Yeah.
So I was wondering myself why the increase was there, because that wasn't what we looked at, but, on the sheets that they provided me yesterday, they added the community paramedic into it, because there's some transfers between the accounts going on there as well.
Okay.
But our overall EMS is down just a little bit.
Okay, so we're gonna cover that next Thursday?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nick, we
Brittany,
have a
will you
special
do that?
meeting on the 10th, and then we have this on the 13th, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Chief, whenever you go looking at Trenton, I'm not looking at giving them the full amount that we've been funding, but I want to give them something.
Yes, sir.
So,
Well, I'll bring you the calls and whatnot, and.
well,
like I said, this was kind of
bring us back a recommendation that you and the lady can agree on.
Yes, sir.
Chief Campbell, are you needing the past 5, I know Trent's requested the past 5 years, what are you requesting for fire?
I sent something to Benita, of how there's multiple sheets she has to pull, and I think she's finally figured out how to do it, because Karen was the last one, that was able to pull the records for us. Since then, it's, if you click one button, it throws the whole thing off, and what we did before, was she sent us raw data out of there, we put it in an Excel sheet, and then we can share that with everybody, but it's been a little bit since we've done that, because not a lot of people know how to work that system.
So if you could forward me that email to, I'll make sure I'm tracking, so y'all can have it. Apologize for the delay.
No, and she works very hard with us, she gives us a lot of info, but I've had two things come up, between fire investigations and an employee investigation, that I needed records from them, that I need them now. So I told her to focus on those prior to pulling those numbers.
Okay.
So next we have community paramedic. It'll be on pages 136 and 137.
Want to Ryan?
Ryan Clemens, Gilchrist County Fire Rescue.
As long as he doesn't bring any MOUs.
No news right now, sorry. Dude.
He wore me out on MOUs.
I wore myself out on them, sir. I'm sick of them. So hopefully we're done with them for now, at least for a year or two. I guess it's showing an increase on there. We switched our request to LSF. So of course all of our money is coming from Lutheran Services Florida, which is opioid money allocations, and then I also have a $66,000 DOH grant that I get for the program. That goes over to Chief Campbell's EMS funds, and then we just roll over what I need. So currently the budget is just my position, and then a part-time position to help me out. We never fully replaced Everett. Did not find the person to replace Everett. We have found someone to help me full-time, but she will not be available till November. So right now it's just going to be me and her part-time, 1 day a week until November.
So what of the total is covered by grant?
All of it.
All of it. Okay.
There's not one penny that's coming from taxpayer funds from our program. Do we have Caitlin, do we have the slideshow from the state that showed the return on investment? Originally, Bobby and I had talked about it, but so in the last about year and a half, the return.
You talking about that?
Yep.
It should be it's in the book.
It is in your book. If you just, if you're on the EMS budget, hang left.
EMS.
You do a good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I sure appreciate it.
You help a lot of people.
How many people roughly are you
We've had
helping?
140 people who have enrolled into the program. Those are people who enroll and they stay kind of long term. That does not count the amount of people that we have served. I mean, I would have to pull those numbers, but they're well over 300 for the past year. I know that we've done a great deal of work with the opioid, drug recovery, substance abuse disorders through the county. We've done a whole lot of referrals on that end. Today we have 0 Hour Life Center, which is one of those great MOUs that Duke was referring to. They're at the Gilchrist County Library doing resource outreach for substance abuse and mental health. But the MINCP, the state of Florida ran the numbers for us. These are only, this data is only on graduated patients. And so it's very hard to say this is 1 year. Some of these may be a year and a half old. Some of them may have only been in the program for 3 months. So the estimated return of investment for the county was about $89,240. That's the money that was saved by preventing these recurrent 911 transports from these patients that I enrolled. It uses the estimated price, cost per call of $1,200, which is probably on the low side when you look at the overall amount.
So not only is the grant covering the cost of the program, it's saving the county $90,000.
Correct. And more importantly, we reduced, so the enrollees showed, and I'd like to reiterate that. Those are the people who enrolled into my program. I cannot force people to enroll, just because they're a high utilizer doesn't mean that they enroll and they mend their ways, if you will. But we had a 76% reduction in transports with the people who enrolled in my program versus before.
So with this program here, if you avoid transport occasionally, does that make Chief Campbell's numbers go down?
Well, not lately, it has not, because we've still been at status zero requesting mutual aid from surrounding counties. We don't have enough ambulances in the county to run our calls, even if there were 2 of me. So,
When he talks about the savings in this too, number one, yes, we get paid per call, but remember, we get reimbursed. I haven't done our number a little bit, because we've actually had an increase in our percentage that we get reimbursed, but $450 per call would be great. It costs us $900 to run a call.
Yeah,
So we lose money every single time we turn a wheel.
yeah.
He uses the estimates out of what we can save on that, but just think of that too, is some of these calls, we're still running the same amount of calls, but we're available to run those calls now, and another county is not coming in and running them for us, which
Yeah.
that turns around and gives us a quicker response time, less reliance on another agency. So you may not see that number subtracted from us,
Right.
the cost savings there, but in order for us to be able to provide that service, he's working on what it costs us to run per call.
Yeah.
And we've seen a great reduction, like I said, the people that he's enrolled, 76% of their transports.
But if it wasn't for him, yours would be even higher.
Well, you might not see our budget increase, but what you would see increase is you'd see our response time go up drastically. And for us to get back to that,
Yeah,
I think the number's even a little bit low. It costs me a lot more money to get back to a lower response time. Because when we utilize an out-of-county unit,
yeah.
you're looking at now that 10 to 15-minute response time is 30 to 45 minutes. And unfortunately, it's never on the calls where, hey, I stubbed my toe. We're already taking that to the hospital.
Right.
Somebody's having a heart attack, and now they have to wait 40 minutes for an ambulance.
Yeah.
This helps keep us in check there without having to expend this money otherwise.
Sheriff, you got something to add?
Yes. Bobby Schultz, Sheriff. It's kind of unusual for another agency or another office to come and step up for other folks, especially this time of year. Like I tell you, there is, outside of, obviously the other public safety issues, this is one of the best investments that you have, because then it directly helps us. We're an underserved county on a bunch of fronts. Ryan and his folks and the chief has helped us out tremendously with other services that they can provide. And it also keeps us from having to go to certain calls, because they call the sheriff's office, we're gonna go stabilize certain things. And it's keeping us, he's already gonna be there, him and his staff's gonna be at a lot of these places. So we don't have to go. And again, the other services they're providing for law enforcement, he's already trained some of our people on certain things that, he knows a lot of stuff, and the chief knows a lot of stuff, Donna knows a lot of stuff. I'd encourage you that, within reason, this is one of those things that need to be funded for the citizens of Gilchrist County, and underserved in a lot of ways. But I certainly support it, and I'm grateful that we have the program.
That's
Good.
good. That's
Thank you.
good. Thank you.
And one more, and I'll hijack what that number doesn't include too is when Ryan is out, after hours calls, things like that, or right now, if we're out of ambulances, he's still paramedic in the county. He doesn't have to do MIA stuff. He can go and run a vehicle accident with us. The other person that he's talking about, she already is a part-time employee with us, and hopefully will become full-time at some point, is also a paramedic who used to work for us, who was cleared by our medical director to perform. If we all had to jump on an ambulance together.
He could jump on one. Yeah, that's good.
Yep, and it just gives us more people there to do that job better.
So your request for personnel services, which is 39, and your operating expenses is 33 increase, that's to cover the next employee that's coming up?
Yes, sir. That's what.
So you're budgeting for that?
And truthfully, sir, I think those numbers are going to be wrong, and I hate to say it, but it should be a decrease, because I had some pretty high capital purchases last year that I don't think reflected on there. I had a new truck that was grant funded. I had a $56,000 cardiac monitor that was grant funded, and I had a CPR device that's $15,000 that was grant funded. So I don't think those ever made it on the 2025, 2026 numbers. So none of that will be coming out this year. So.
Okay.
Good.
Just one more thing, guys. There's Donna Lee, who works close with him, who brag on her a lot. She's not lived here as long as Wallace and has more contacts than most of us. She's finding resources, she's great with that. Her position is actually funded through the Department of Health. We're not funding her position, is that correct?
That is correct.
So she is working with us, working with him, working with fire rescue. If you can't find it, I'm pretty sure she can.
And someone the other day asked me what she does. I said, anything you need in the county, she can find out. she is the lady.
My rural health meetings in Orlando, I just come back from, she was attending those meetings as well too, and she gets a lot of that paid for through Department of Health, through her Alzheimer's Association. So she's a great asset to us that works with him. That we get because of this program, but we're not actually having to fund that portion of it. So that's another thing that he's.
Thank you, Donna.
Yes.
Thank you, Donna, for what you
Thank
did.
you.
Absolutely. Donna's my secret weapon.
Mhm.
There's no on that. I've never made that a secret. So, he just gave me these numbers. We've received $236,194 of opioid settlement money. That's basically this year that is sustaining the program. The one thing I did want to point out, if you'll go back to those. So the immediate return of investment on this program is shown right there on that page. 6,090 minutes is what we were able to keep an ambulance in Gilchrist County for calls by reducing those numbers. So 6,090 minutes that Gilchrist County got an ambulance back in the county to run the 911 calls, which is amazing because we're still having to call for mutual aid. So without those, I think addition it would have been far worse. But I'm pretty proud of those numbers and hope y'all are.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ron.
Thank you for what you do.
Appreciate everything you do.
So the next item is actually the opioid fund. It's on page 114. So if you're gonna hang a left from where you're at.
How many years are we expecting to get this money from this?
The original settlement was 20 years,
20 years.
I believe.
Wow.
This has been,
That's
and
been-
we've been having it now for what, about 5 years? 4 years? 4 years? Yeah.
I know that's taken up a lot of Mr. Lang's time to get that. You've had to work with other people on that.
So part of these funds go to that program. Does some of it go to the sheriff's office or no?
Not currently.
It can.
Can't?
It can for like Narcan and things like that, but,
That's true. So, yeah, it definitely can come to us, but we've not asked. We're good. And truthfully, Mr. Clemens helps us out when we need stuff anyway, so between him and his 15 jobs he has, they're able to help us out and get some of the needs that we have. It was also told me that that fund should be used for overtime to fight opioids in the community. That was my understanding when we filed the lawsuit, that some of that money could be given to law enforcement to fight the opioid epidemic, but I could be wrong.
But what I'm seeing 239,591. The balance that's beyond what Ryan just talked about budget. Where does that?
it has its own fund.
Okay.
So it's anything that's not, so right now, 170,000 is being transferred to EMS to fund the program.
Okay.
So anything that doesn't get spent remains in the fund to help fund next year.
Okay.
So
It's listed as a single item on our budget recap, isn't it?
it is.
And I'm not sure if Bobby has some information about that 69,591.
I think that's just the balance.
Was it just?
I think that's just to balance the fund.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I do that, because we have to have a balanced budget. So it could easily be transferred over to EMS instead of being left.
I'm going to double check to make sure that it can't be used for overtime for the epidemic.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident.
All right, that brings us to our last slide. So last night, there was conversations about road and solid waste. In road, there was a question about purchase of a chipper for right around $65,000. And utilizing some of the FEMA funds to purchase that. So I just need direction from the board on, where do we stand on that? It would, I mean, there's really only two ways to go with that is utilize, fund balance within the road department, which is kind of struggling, or transfer additional funds from general. So we can go ahead and increase the transfer in order to purchase the road chipper and put that in the budget. But we just need some direction from the board on
I'll take
where
it
to
out
go.
of general, is my opinion.
Okay.
But I don't know how y'all feel about that.
Mm-hmm. Y'all agree?
Well, the transportation's already struggling anyway, so.
I just know with the weather we've had lately, with a lot of limbs, trees down, it could be used.
Yeah.
And if that could all be
It could get
ground
worse.
up, is
Could
that
get worse.
something that, you
with the
said
storm.
though, there was a company that
Does yard trash.
does yard trash? So if they're doing yard trash, would we start taking some of our stuff there so they could chip it up instead of us having to wear out our stuff? I mean, not that we don't need one, but I'm just thinking, if we got a company that's willing to take it and grind it for free, then we don't have to burn our gas and burn our energy and our time and everything else. We still need the chipper. I'm not against the chipper, but if that company is someone that's gonna grind that stuff too, then we ought to utilize it if that's.
Yeah, now.
I think that's for the smaller
That's,
stuff.
Rodney Thompson, road supervisor. Let's keep in mind that this wood chipper, what we're talking about, is mobile. It's the equipment we utilize along roadways and right of ways to chip on site, to grind on site.
Okay, so it's not like you're gonna keep it at the road department
No.
and bring
sir.
everything there.
No,
You're
sir,
gonna.
we have an air curtain incinerator
Okay.
that we burn all of our debris, wood debris that we collect on right of ways. It's too big to be utilizing the chipper, and we can't chip on site.
And the inmate crews are helping with that?
Yes, sir, they operate it.
Okay.
I have one supervisor, the inmate squad, Marshall County employee that supervise that, chipper. Actually, we do have two. We have a bandit chipper, I guess the county purchased maybe, I don't know, my understanding from Washoe County many moons ago. That's a little bigger chipper, but, it's old and aged too. But, with addition, if we do purchase this, we could always put that one on. It's good enough shape, we could put it out for bid and kind of recoup some of the money that we utilize spending on purchase of a new one.
Yeah.
The one we use is actually conducive to what we need. The bigger one from Alachua County does not. So it can grind big trees, but the issues we have with a lot of vinage in our roads.
Yeah.
And we try to chip them vines get caught up and it clogs up the chipper, the big one. So we can, look at the possibility of maybe putting that out for bid and just recouping some money back to put in and keep the old chipper, the 2007 for a backup in an event. Because it's very handy, because there's times I do run 2 squads of inmates chipping. All depends on weather conditions and how many trees and all you're aware, you travel our Lime Rock roads, our dirt roads, in a desperate need of trimming and cutting back, and that machinery is very vital to the actual road department and maintaining our roads.
And Commissioner
It gets utilized
A
daily.
lot.
You can see it going around you can see it in action. You see our old truck, and we have a panel hanging on by duct tape or haywire, but it's still running, it's still chipping, so.
Commissioner Martin, I agree with your thought. I haven't even met with this company yet. I don't know, we may not even fit their model. They may not be, the tonnage we have may not meet their qualifications for them to come and set up or nothing. So I want to look into it. I hope it works. If it does, hallelujah. But without meeting them, knowing the facts, we may be a year or 2 or 3 years out trying to get it in here and get it set up. I don't know. Once we pick a site to put a solid waste station, this would fit right in there with that. So the engineer said we may be 3 years out. So
Yeah.
I would agree to go ahead and get the one Roddy's talking about and then look into, I definitely want to look into the recycle, no doubt about that. I just hope we fit their model where they'll come and set up and do what they say they can do.
I'd like to look into the recycle too, just because it would reduce our tonnage.
Oh, yeah.
That we take to Union, and
Plus you have a usable product.
and not fill the landfill with usable mulch and stuff that people could use. So, yeah, but I agree. We need one for the road department, but also if that company comes and they need tonnage to be successful.
We may have to do different.
All right, sound like everybody's supportive of us getting the chipper
Out of general fund.
out of general.
Okay. I was also asked to look into solid waste. I didn't leave the office last night till about 10 o'clock, and nobody was answering the call. So I wasn't able to really find out any additional information. Since we have the additional workshop, I'd like to just roll that to the next workshop.
Okay.
And
Any
we'll have
other questions for Mr.
time.
Rodney? We appreciate what you
No,
do.
Well,
Go ahead.
I think Commissioner Langford asked me about how much rock, the average.
Yes, that's right.
Per road, if we get to building our roads up, and as all you know, where we got, well, right now, we've had some roads paved or some surface gay road, that I have to take off of. Unpaved roads, we maintain 334 miles in Gilchrist County. So you can take off, subtract 3 miles, whatever, for Northwest 30th Street, Northwest 20th Ave, Gay Road that we just had paved. We're currently reached out to DOT. I have FDOT to see if our chip seal roads, what category do we have, where we have to categorize those when we do because we have to do an annual report to FDOT showing how many miles we maintain paved and unpaved. So I don't know where the chip seal roads fall at, if they have considered that as paved road or just unpaved. So I'm hoping it's unpaved, because of the chip seal, it's not asphalt.
Right.
Not a paved road, but we got our filters out and just waiting.
It may take annual maintenance to keep it up.
Right.
And I'm hoping over time that the state will pick them up and surface them with blacktop.
I know I spoke to Mr. Rodney about the increase. We need to consider that in his budget, because that was not budgeted for the lime rock. So that's something we need to adjust, and that's something maybe you can bring back and, when we have the next meeting. But also, I know we've talked about it before in meetings with how they brought up these roads that we did chip and seal, and how the citizens said they were great roads once they did bring in all that lime rock. And that was used with that, that came out of that $500,000, correct?
Yeah, that was the money fund, and we utilized to
So that came out of that, but we
do the
cut,
base work for the.
right, but we did bring roads up, and I know we talked about how we want more roads brought up like that, because it was a good road once it was brought up. But we didn't put any money, I know we're not gonna do chip and seal this year, but do we wanna add any money for additional lime rock so he can bring some of these roads up where he needs to bring them up? And that's something.
Can you tell me how many average loads we use a month?
It varies based on season. We was blessed this past year for no hurricanes, thank the Lord. So that didn't hit us too hard. Harvest season, and I got just numbers to kind of give you an idea of where we are now. Those actual loads that come out of the pit is road-based, sometimes road-based rock, but it might be a load of what we call dirty rock. That we
Not
put down
DOT
somewhere
quality.
We can't use lime rock, it's like just dirt out of the pit. But we have to definitely count that as coming out of the pit because of payment purposes for Mr. Townsend, because we're pulling from his property. So we treat it $10 a load just like we do lime rock base. And we have stockpiles in the county for emergencies to get closer to our grader operators. So the average, October 25, we pulled 219 loads out of the pit. November was 170. December was 244. January was 162. February was 189. March was 301. April 251. May 280. June 344. So as you can tell,
it's kind of seasonal pattern versus heavy rainstorms, the rainy months versus harvesting silage trucks. We're still trying to recuperate from that. And why 344 count was so high in June, you had a little bit of mixture of us prepping our roads for
That's what I
chip
was
seal
gonna ask, okay.
and harvesting seasons, going fixing bust outs. As you all aware, we can, and I'll be first to tell you that a lot of our roads is, we need to bring them up. There's a lot of water stands in our roads. Y'all know, we fight battles all the time. You know, we can't, property owners, we can't just cut weak poles and direct water flow on someone's property. So they don't want it on their property. Then the residents driving the road and the water's settling in the road after a good 2-3 inch rainstorm and their vehicles get drowned out. There's low spots. You have to wait for that water to recede, hoping the sun comes out and dries up that water hole where you can put some more rock in. Because you put rock in a wet mud hole, you're wasting time. We're wasting county money.
Yeah.
So these roads do, there's several miles that do need to be built up. I have a game plan. I've got a grader operator that's going out on me for a few weeks for medical issues. So I'm going to have to move a grader operator in the southwest, but he's doing fine. I've changed routes of my senior grader. I want to put a senior grader on the crew to build up the roads. There'll be a grader operator. I'm going to dedicate a dump truck to that grader operator where they can reshape these roads. Somebody for the zipper. We've got a lot of utilization out of that zipper for preparing these roads. We did a couple of roads that residents was real, I mean, they called and raved about how great the road was. Now, my experience right now, when we run the zipper, if we do it right, we put rock down, we build the roads up, we zip it, we roll it, we compact it real good. And y'all know just as much as I do. It's based on the season, the moisture and content in our roads and in that rock of how it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
After this rain, if it don't rain for a few days, we go in there and grade and cut these potholes out. That road would be great for about 2-3 weeks before the sun starts beating out. Then it dries out, then the potholes start blowing out, and you're just raking dust. But a lot of it has to do with moisture content in our rock, in our base.
And we've had a lot of dry weather.
Yes, sir.
A lot of dry weather.
That's something that we actually, need to consider doing. If you can fund some, I think our road material, budgeted, it's $40,000, correct me if I'm not wrong, and that includes the rock we pulled out of the pit, from Mr. Townsend. So I think we're, with, promotion last night, I guess, more, y'all looking at maybe increase on what we pulled out there from $10 load to $15 a load. And, but that's great for Gilchrist County and our community. That's pretty cheap when you're paying for road-based lime rock out of the pit in Newberry for $11 a ton. I can tell you,
That's very reasonable.
our trucks pull out when they leave that pit. Let's just say 16 to 20 tons when they come out and hit 129. Keep in mind that sometimes, if it's wet or something, the weight's gonna make a little difference. But we're actually pulling about per truckload 16 to 20 tons. A load that we're paying $10 for.
Yeah.
I ain't wrong, I think when we started there, I think it's about $8 a load.
Yes, sir. But keep in mind, too, we have staff at the pit, so there is some cost in digging the rock.
How many people do we have at the pit?
We have two. We have excavator, one that gets down close to the water and digs the rock out of the water. They get down about 15 feet. And then I apologize by saying that because the gentleman coming here last night, and that's who he was, said with me, he's now our excavator, man. He digs the rock out. And I see he forgot to knock his boots off when he come in here last night. So he left the trail. It'd be easy for a FTC K9 to trail. I believe I could track him. But we got to have two people. Then we have one that crushes the rock. We got a lot of cost saving stuff going on there we're trying to do because if this is approved and passed, naturally we're going to need more rock. We got to crush rock. And it's nobody's fault. But if you ride our roads right now, we're band-aiding the roads. Mm-hmm. We get a call, we get a work request about a water hole wash out the road after this rainstorm. We go put a load or two of rock. And what's that do? Build it up. It just pushes that water flow down the road to this location. Mm-hmm. We got to come back the next rainstorm and do that. And it's just playing,
there's nowhere for water to run off of, but back and forth on the roads instead of off the sides if they're properly crowned and ditched. Some roads are wet, you got a little more width, our right of ways a little wider than some. Some we have to adjust the blade of grade to get through the grade between oak trees. So we can't ditch some roads, but the ones we can, I think it'd be beneficial, be lower maintenance for us, for our grader operators, to get around the county a lot quicker. Cause when a grader operator, I have 5 grader operators in this county. Each section's got a grader operator, and which by memorandum of agreement, we do Bell. We grade all the roads in Bell, a couple here in Trenton. So when my grader operator's tied up waiting on a dump truck to bring him a couple loads of rock, that slows his route time down. So instead of getting your road in a week, depending on how severe the road is, it could delay that grader operator for a day, 2 days, to repair one road. So I got a plan for that. I want to use 4 grader operators. I believe that we can keep up with the county and keep the roads maintained and graded, and use this 5th grader operator who's experienced as a finished grader operator to work these roads and just run that crew around and hit our hot spots and our problems. But
My philosophy is and I've always felt like, the rock is cheap enough, if you want to call it that. If you need rock, use it. If you need more rock or more money, then just build it in there. I don't, say overuse it, but every time you need to fix a pothole. One time there was a problem with the road department. They were told not to use no more rock than they necessarily absolutely had to. And I told the road superintendent, I said, I don't agree with that. If you got a bad spot and it takes 4 loads of rock, you need 4 loads of rock. Don't try to get by with one, And you being in charge, and road grader thinks it needs 4 loads of rock to solve the problem, then use 4 loads of rock. If we need to up our materials, we'll just up our materials.
yes, and that's they subject matter experts. They out there on the roads running the graders. They know they need rock. And all. I can't tell them when they need rock, or wait for these guys to call me and make give them a load of rock. Go, we can't do that.
No.
We have to depend on our staff and their knowledge and ability, skills to get the job done. If they need rock, I tell them to call.
Yeah,
absolutely. To a point, 344 loads coming out of there. That's for 1 month. That's pretty busy.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's seasonal. Harvest season. I mean, we went from watermelons to solids. Now we're fixing to go peanuts. We're facing storms. And
Yeah.
So it dictates what we pull out and how many loads we utilize. All those loads do not go directly down on the road because we have stockpiles for emergencies. So what you see there, don't let the numbers be misleading. Like, 219 loads in October went straight on roads. It didn't. They pull and stop.
But if you're working on a road and you're trying to upgrade it and you're going to use a zipper on it, then I say do it.
Yeah, and from what I can tell, and the weather has a lot to do with it, conditions, but if you use that zipper and we do it right, and when we run the roller, we have one roller. Residents want us to roll behind every grader. We can't do that. But when you do it right, it's like 50th Street. I don't know if y'all still ride it there, the gas, going back to Jennings Lake, the church there in Jennings Lake. Just that little section there, it wasn't even probably a quarter of a mile. But that was done, 8 months ago. And it holds up. It's holding up pretty good.
Good.
So.
It sounds like, Rodney, and I don't know if I got the total number right, but the $5 increase is going to be maybe 10,000 more or 15,000 more.
My quick estimation is about 15 grand.
15, okay.
I just want to make sure we include that in the budget.
Yeah, we'll bring it back for the next workshop as well. We'll get with Rodney and we'll talk about this. The only thing I will say, we talk about, if you need the rock, use the rock. And today that's good. But, depending on what does occur in November, that may change the story.
Oh, yeah. It will change the story.
So, I think we have to keep that, bear that in mind, that, we've had an increase in rock costs, so we've got to increase our budget to reflect that. But, depending on what happens, we may have to
next year, we
we
may
may have
be
to
saying,
we may have to
we gotta-
revamp our, lots of things. And so,
I guess that question will be answered in November, though.
it will be. It will be.
Yeah. And one last thing I have is, I guess, Mr. Lang wanted me to check on as far as with Bell, any kind of MOU with Trenton about the fuel island, there's no written.
It was a motion
Just motion by the
passage,
board
and in the
passed.
minutes, yeah.
Then we have just issued, fuel keys and then, you know how
Okay.
it's automated, so they'll get billed every month.
Well, I was gonna try to pair whatever we had with Trenton
No,
for the
there's
bill.
not a current.
Okay,
MOU.
So we'll just do the same thing with Bell?
that's right.
Okay.
Thank you, Rodney.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Hey,
Thank you.
Rodney.
And if y'all get tired of it for any reason, you can terminate it just by motion, so if there's an issue.
All right, so we have our next workshop on next Thursday, the 13th at 9 a.m. We'll be addressing fire with Fanning Springs and Trenton again. EMS, we're going to address some solid waste questions. We'll bring back some information on road department and any other.
We are gonna meet back here on the 10th.
We are
as a
meeting the-
board to discuss,
Correct.
okay.
Yep.
What time?
You said on the 10th?
Yeah, the 10th, we're meeting back here at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, the 10th is at 4.
4, okay.
The 10th is at 4?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the 10th is at 4
5
and the 13th is at 9.
10th, 4 o'clock
10th is 4 o'clock and the 13th is when? 9?
9 o'clock.
AM.
Okay.
So if you get here on the
What's the 10th for, Todd?
10th is a special meeting for county administrator.
Right, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be sending out a town cloud notice later today, probably for both of them.
What time is that?
Okay.
The 10th?
10th at 4 o'clock, 13th at 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Any
Anything
other
else?
issues the board wants to address that we would be able to discuss at the next workshop?
Nothing I know of.
Outside of that, I think that's all we have for today.
All right, we ready to adjourn?
Yeah.
We adjourn.
All right. We adjourn.